welcome back to my kitchen. If you're new here, my name is Paula and my channel is The Flavorful Home. It has been quite a while since I've been in my kitchen with you. Two reasons. One, it's been very hot here in Southern California. At one point it was 101, 105. No one likes to cook when it's that hot. And the second reason, the most important one, my big oven died on me. I have a dual fuel oven with a small side oven and a regular size. And it seems, we just thought it was the heating element because the oven itself is electric. That wasn't the case. It was a transformer or a motherboard, if you will, that had all these wires connected to it because the oven has several settings. Conventional, convection, top broil, bottom broil. It has all the bells and whistles, which means a lot more could go wrong with it. So it broke on June 15th and it was first fixed yesterday, which I think was July 8th. So I had this whole series planned out and the oven broke. So now that it's fixed, I'm ready to share. The very first recipe I am doing is 7-layer cookies. That is a classic Italian cookie that is sold in all the bakeries. It also goes by rainbow cookies. I choose rainbow cookies because technically mine is only 6 layers because I don't flip them and coat it in the chocolate on the bottom. I just do the top. But the ingredients you need, I double. So this is 4 cups, but it's 2 cups of flour. It is 8 ounces of almond paste that I actually grate on the grater so that it just melds and melts into the mixture better. It comes in cans. Solo is a brand. Oden's is another brand. If you look on Amazon, you could find it. So we have, remember, doubled 4 cups of flour, a pound of almond paste, and then you're going to use 8 eggs separated, 5 sticks of unsalted butter cut into chunks. I have it in the fridge because it is so hot, they're melting right away. You cut it into chunks. If you're not doubling, it's 2.5 sticks. Vanilla salt. I'll gather all the ingredients and we'll get this going. This is a good one. I'll be back. Alrighty, friends. So, first things first, you're going to dump your almond paste into your mixing bowl, and all your sugar but 2 tablespoons. And keep in mind mine is doubled, so it's all but 4 tablespoons because it calls for a cup of sugar, so I doubled that. Mix on medium. That almond paste, it smells amazing. And you're looking for just fine crumbles. You want it like peas, little peas. And then I have my butter. My butter is all diced and cubed. And you're going to start adding your butter in pieces. Just keep going. I usually make these at Christmas time because of their color. But these are served at baby showers, weddings, birthdays, you name it. This is the superstar of Italian cookies. Butter in there, and then you're going to plop the yolks. I was taught how to make this cookie so many years ago. We still lived in Brooklyn, New York, by my Aunt Tony. Gosh, it probably was like 1983 or 84 when I was taught how to make it. You see how it all comes together? Okay, that's right, that's my hand. Okay, I'm going to lower that, and we're going to open the egg yolk. All separated. Put them in. Try to get them one at a time. Nice. You're going to sprinkle your salt. This is a teaspoon of salt because I doubled. And I will put the recipe in the description box. And I'll also add how to make your own almond paste recipe if you would like to just do that. Now I'm actually going to put just a bit of almond extract. I'm not going to put a full tablespoon because I do like that almond taste that comes with it. You don't have to do that. It's not even in the recipe. Okay, I'm going to transfer this to my glass bowl because I have to whip up my egg whites. And if you could believe it, I still don't have a hand mixer. I don't even know what hand mixer is a good brand. So I'm gonna do this and then we'll come back and whip up the egg whites. I'm back. Guess what? I jumped ahead way too fast. You need to put the flour in before you do the egg whites. So I'm dumping in my 4 cups of flour, and you just mix it until combined. I'm going to do that low so that I don't have a flour mess. And let's get this. Going. And you want it just combined, and that's just combined. Okay. Sorry about that, folks. But now that that's done, now we'll come back when the whites are ready. See you in a few. Where we are. All right, so I set up at the table now because the lighting is a bit better and you can see what this looks like. And that's the whites. Nice and stiff. Put that in. Look at that. And you just get that blended in. This is going to become, to be honest, like a cake batter. And you want to get that in there just to lighten it up. All right, I'm going to add more. When you've been making these cookies as long as I have, you kind of just get used to it and you go with the flow. Alrighty, we have 3 portions. This is doubled, and I did about 2.5 cups in each. The whole thing is 1/3 in each bowl. Now, the single recipe, it's in a 9x13 cookie sheet, I think it is. But like I said, I doubled mine. I'm actually going to put just a little bit of white in here. It's probably really not going to do much of anything, but I just wanted to brighten it a little. I usually don't put any white in it. And as you can see, it's like a very thick cake batter. All right. Wipe that down. comes the fun part, getting these colors correct. So, all right, since the spoon isn't there, we'll go with this one. And I use Americolor. I actually need more. I'm running out of some of my others. I cannot stand getting this stuff all over my hands, but I do every time. I just need to rinse 1 second because I'm sticky. You want, it's a Christmas red. That's what you're looking for. You don't want pink. You want a nice, bright, fire engine, Christmassy red. And you gotta get in there and get all sure all your sides are combined. And I'm going to add a little bit more. And that should do it. It'll develop a little bit as it sits while I mix the others. Sides, and it looks good. Yeah, that's nice and combined. All right, gotta wash my hands again. And now comes green. I'm just going to use this one. And one, two, three. It's more than 3, but that's okay. And 1, 2. Let's see what we got, and then we'll go from there. Green is. Let me put my oven to 350. I'm so happy my oven is back. And 350. I can't bake all 3 at the same time. One has to stay back because obviously there's only 2 racks, but they cook very quickly, and I'm going to show you why in a second. Alright, that looks good. That's come together very nicely. So you got your green. Beautiful. Now you have to prep your pans. I always use parchment. I just prefer to be safe and sorry. And I'm going to be honest with you. It does make it a bit of a pain in the neck, but again, I don't want to deal with losing my cookie. Alright, let me just hit the pan to help this stay. Spray it lightly. It doesn't need much because it's got a ton of butter in it. Now the fun part, and the part that usually is very off-putting to most people. We're going to spread this into this as thin as could be. And you're gonna, I missed a little bit, but I'm not gonna fuss about it. This is what usually gets people, but it's also why I've doubled my recipe and use these slightly larger pans, because you literally were using a spoon or a butter knife and just spreading and spreading and spreading, and it was agitating. Tedious is a better word. Tedious. So by doubling it and using this bigger pan, it makes it much easier. And again, like I said, the parchment paper does like to, get out of here, fly, does like to move around a bit. I hate flies. We have, it looks like we kind of conquered them, but for the occasion. First of all, because we have to be very diligent in not opening, that's not fair to say, because you can't get out of the house if you don't open the door. Closing the door almost instantly after opening it. And we bought this stuff, and Lordy Miss Morty, it smells like who did it and ran and forgot to flush. This stuff smells like death in a jar, but these disgusting flies love it. And we hung it. First it was hanging on the side of the house, which only was attracting every fly in the neighborhood. And we said, wait a minute, might have been my son who said, I think you better move that. Put it by the garage so that they're going that way. And that did the trick. We moved the lure over there. They go into this jar and they never come out. So we went from having, oh my gosh, at one point we're eating dinner and there's like 6 flies in the kitchen to maybe 1, but as of late, none. And you see that? You just smooth, 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 smooth it smooth. And it's spread nice. Again, I prefer mine a little thicker, but I will post the recipe in the description. And if you would prefer to use the 9 by 13 or whatever the small 10 by 15, just be patient. Don't get upset. Just sit there, sing a song, listen to a book on audio, and just work it. And that's one. So you have your white layer and your red layer. It cooked a little bit more than it should have. Don't let that get you nervous or upset, because they're going to be stacked, and sandwiched in between is going to be preserves. So it's okay if they're a little bit more brown. You notice it more on the white layer. But I did 5 minutes, rotated top to bottom, bottom to top, and also spun them around. And then I did another 4 more minutes to get it cooked perfectly. Green is still baking, but I'll show you what I do next. I actually use a larger cookie sheet and put them on top to stack. And I use strawberry preserves. You could use raspberry, you could use apricot. I just use all strawberry because that's what we like. Alrighty, we'll be back in a minute. Alrighty, friends. Now comes the fun part. I take my bigger cookie sheet, wrapped in foil. I put it over, and I've been making these cookies for over 35 years, and I still get nervous when I do this because I don't know. And there you have it. This is why I love parchment paper. I'm going to hold it up so you can see the thickness of the cookie. Hopefully you're seeing that. Let me put my finger to hold it in place. Alright. And like I said, you can use whichever, let me get these crumbs off, preserve you prefer. You could do raspberry, apricot, you could do all apricot, all raspberry. I just like to do my strawberry. And you just stir it to make it really liquidy. And just like you did it, spreading it in the pan, that's how you do this. You want to see a job getting the next layer. Like I said, I've been making these cookies for 35 years, and it still makes me hold my breath when I gotta do this. You go as much to the edge as you can. You don't have to, you don't want it to seep over. So, you go. Nice, it makes it nice and shiny. It's a glaze. Looks beautiful. I like to take my knife and I just run it along the edge in case there's any sticking. Mind you, it's got to be, I don't know, 100 degrees in my kitchen, probably more. And I'm cooking it. Alright. Meaning me, my body is cooking. Not just me cooking. All right. Yeah, that's good. All right. side, and you just shimmy it. I kind of flew that out a little bit quicker than I wanted to, and you're seeing the result of that. But alrighty, friends, we are back after being cut off because my memory card was full. And when I left you last, we were in the middle of what someone who hasn't ever done this before would call a disaster. But like I said, I've been making these cookies for over 30 years, so I've seen and done it all, and nothing phases me. When mistakes happen, I push through. And I also had to make my pizza dough last night, so I moved on to that and decided to save frosting these with chocolate to the next day. Let me quickly explain what I did here, because I don't even know, I think it's this side. If you recall, yeah, it's this side. We had a little accident with the white layer. And what I should have done is gotten my cookie sheet, placed it over like I did with the green, flipped it, and then used my cookie sheet to feed it onto the layer. I didn't do that. Instead, I tried to use my arm for balance and the bottom broke. But I did that with the green and it went just fine, as you could see. And then before I put the green, I did the strawberry preserves. Again, I sat inverted like this on top of the green, flipped it. When the green layer came out, I just put my hand here and fed it on top. So the next thing is your chocolate layer. This is semi-sweet chocolate chips. I only used about 10.5 ounces. Usually the recipe calls for a full bag of like Nestle chips, or you could chop up chocolate, bittersweet or semi-sweet chocolate chunks. The chips are just easier, they melt easy. The reason I used a little less is at one time I used to do all the sides as well as the top. I don't do that anymore. Now I just go down onto the top and spread it like I'm frosting just the top of a cake instead of dealing with doing the sides too. Now, some words about this drying and cutting. It's a pain in the neck, and especially when it's 100 degrees out, like today is 104. Usually I do this in the winter. Don't put it in your refrigerator because you're going to have cracking, and you don't want it to crack when you go to cut it. Your best bet, if you have your air conditioner running, put it in the coolest room of your house and let it set. It will, before it's completely hard, like it was before you melted it, you're going to cut it. That's to prevent cracking when you cut it with your knife. It's okay if some comes over the side. Don't get nervous. My family prefers I not go down the side anymore, and so I don't. And when it comes time to cut, I'll bring you back for that. I'm going to have to put this, it's going to need to either go in my dining room or my guest room so that it can somewhat firm up. And boy, I am curious to see how long this is going to take, because it's hot. One year, it was my daughter's bridal shower. It was 112 degrees, and my older daughter made cake pops for her. And even in the house, the cake pops were falling off the stick because it was just too darn hot. There are no words to describe how all these poor people looked, because it was the hottest weekend of the summer, and I had it in my backyard. We rented a tent. We had misters. It was incredibly excruciating, but we had fun, and it was a beautiful bridal shower. So you see, and you know what? You can do whatever you want on here. You want to do swirls like this. You want to little pickups like that. I just do swirls. Or you can go absolutely and totally smooth. I'm going to tell you something else. I really hate working with chocolate. Not because I don't like chocolate. My gosh, who doesn't like chocolate? It's the cleaning. I cannot stand, because chocolate is a fat. Man, oh man, it is a pain in the neck. And what I usually do is I fill my bowl with hot water and put it in the microwave to try to get it as liquefied as possible. I think that's going to do. We just need this to firm up. Let me try to neaten up the sides. Again, you don't need to go crazy. Your company or hostess gift will love it. Remember, boo-boo side. Don't sweat it. Let me flip it around. How's that, friends? Alrighty, we're going to let the cooling begin. And let me show you what I'm going to use to cut it this time. I think this time we're going to use the pizza rocker to cut it. Alrighty, we'll be back when this is ready to be sliced. Alright, now we're going to cut it. You want to, let me get your rag to wipe so the crumbs aren't coming. Because you see how it has all the crumbs on it? Try to stay straight. Much better than when it's hard. Go on, go outside. Good boy. Just be careful because it's starting to come towards the end of the cookie sheet too. That was definitely much better.
This is good to use.
Yeah, definitely.
Hmm?
Yeah.
I made it a little longer.
Whatever size you like best.
You know what I'm saying? Like a little, like that.
All right. These are one of hubby's favorite cookies. Which ones are your most favorite?
You're the most favorite.
That's a big one. Yeah, that's good.
You're my most favorite cookie.
Yogi, you can't have a cookie. They're not good for you. Go potty. Go ahead.
Way better cut.
Yeah. Oh, much better.
It was tough.
Yeah, the end's a little harder. All right, here, finish
Those are the ones
eating.
I'm gonna eat.
I think that's the side where I had the bit of the
Yeah,
accidents.
it was.
But look, let's see.
Mm.
Just to show. Good?
Did you guys like it? What is all? Okay.
It's okay. I made rainbow cookies. You want one?
I'm not actually a fan.
Alrighty, and then
It was good while
I'll
actually.
plate them for tomorrow.
In the middle of the movie, they bring the fire along.
Okay, I wanted to do a quick mock-up since my memory card went kaput and you didn't get to see how I did the green layer after the white layer fiasco. I wanted to quickly show you. So this piece of foil is going to be a layer of cookies. You put a cookie sheet on top of it, you invert it, the cookie comes off clean, and then you just slide it and guide it right on top of the next layer. And that's exactly how you do it. And these are the cookie sheets I used to use before I doubled the size. I just find you get a bit of a thicker cookie, you get more cookies with the doubling. So before I go, I just want to say one thing. Don't let these cookies intimidate you. I have been making them for close to 35 years, and the only thing that does intimidate me, that's not even a good word. The only thing that gives me a little bit of a in my tummy is when I'm taking one cookie layer out and putting it onto another, like you saw with the white ones. So don't let that stop you. These make a beautiful celebratory cookie. It's wonderful for baptisms, showers, weddings, birthdays, Christmas, Easter. Make them. They pack beautiful wow factor. One word of advice. Well, several words. If you're making them in the summer and you live in a very warm, high humid climate, while I don't have the humidity, I'm in desert climate. It's going to take a while for that chocolate to set. Do not put it in the fridge or it is going to crack on you when you try to cut it. I had to put it in my guest room. That is the coolest room in my home. And it took 3 hours for the chocolate to get to a firm consistency for cutting. You can freeze them. Maybe you want to make this amount and freeze half of them. 3 or 4 layers of plastic wrap into the freezer when you want them, into the fridge to defrost. Don't put them on your counter because that's how the condensation comes. put it into your fridge and they'll defrost beautifully. Other than that, have fun making these cookies. The almond, oh. These are good cookies, friends. We love them here. So good. Soft like a cake. Sweet as could be. Until next time, I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you again.